Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. I just came across this. Supposedly came out 3 days ago, and I I'm just at a loss for words when it comes to Biden. You know, it's bad enough that this man picks and chooses what he thinks is good for the American people, especially with his optics, the way he does things. You know, when he withdrew the troops out of Afghanistan, that was one of the biggest military debacles that could have, come out of the White House. And he did it on 9/11. And it, everybody's seen what happened. It turned out to be a total shit show, for lack of a better term. And I'm sorry for using that term. But just come to find out that he will be in Vietnam talking about climate change. And then on his way back in, he will be going to Alaska. And he will spend a 9/11 memorial there on 9/11. You know, this man is truly not only out of touch, he's not even trying to, how can I say this? It's like he's not even trying to give any kind of recognition to Americans. He's just going on whatever agenda that they're telling him to go to, and he thinks it's fine. I want to play this clip, but before I do, I want to thank all the new subscribers, all my subscribers, and everyone for watching my content. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, give it a thumbs up. And excuse the noise in the background. My dogs, they just ate and they're acting kind of frisky. But yeah, let's listen to what good old Uncle Joe has planned.
President Biden is drawing criticism over his plans for 9/11. He's set to break a 22-year-old tradition by marking the anniversary of the deadly terror attack in Alaska. Every other commander-in-chief since that horrific day has observed the somber occasion from either the White House or at one of the attack sites. But not this year. President Biden will be wrapping up his climate change trip to Vietnam the day before, and the White House says he will then travel to a military base in Alaska and spend 9/11 at a memorial ceremony with those service members and their families. Emily? Why?
Alaskans are Americans. So 100%, he is spending that day that should be spent in observance and remembrance and in honoring the sacrifice that Americans have made with Americans. That being said, to me, 9/11 is something that you plan your presidential schedule all around. It's like those of us normal people who say, oh, my sister's getting married on this day, so this is what we're planning everything out for the year. So the fact that he chose, or his advisors chose, to plan a trip to Vietnam to discuss climate change, oh gosh, and then it's 9/11, so okay, I know, we'll spend it in Alaska. It comes and reads as an afterthought. It reads as a dismissal. And the First Lady at Arlington National Cemetery and the Vice President will be here at the World Trade Center. To me, that is not the same thing as my Commander-in-Chief honoring those lives that were lost and the lives that were lost in the disastrous Afghan withdrawal and in those 20 years since that he decided to announce on 9/11 also. We know how he treats Gold Star families. We know how he treats the American people. This is one more nail in that hideous coffin, but it's the biggest slap in the face of them all.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to jump into that also. Joe Biden does not care about Americans. He doesn't. That's just the bottom line. I mean, even years ago when he was, in Congress and, just like dogging Clarence Thomas. I mean, he was a disgrace then. He lies to his constituents. He comes up with all types of lies with, with the guy he had to fight popcorn, and it's just one bullshit photo op after another with this man. Okay, I mean, took him 2 weeks to spend a couple of hours in Maui. Took him a few minutes to make the decision for Afghanistan. Now he's gonna go and pull something like this. I mean, it's just one disappointment after another. And the truth of the matter is, this is the way I see it. Biden, he is not an American. He doesn't care about America. He'd rather worry about climate change, which all the science points to that there is no such thing as the climate change that all these people are pushing just to put fear in everybody else. But he thinks that's better than going down to my hometown, where we suffered that day. It's not surprising. It's really not. But let's continue.
And Emily mentioned the fact that Biden and company picked September 11th as the withdrawal date, the symbolic date for the Afghanistan withdrawal. They kind of changed it and moved it into August, but they clearly were aiming for the Afghanistan withdrawal for some kind of political mojo, and they wound up, because of their poor planning, killing 13 service members.
Well, they never should have planned it for any kind of political mojo. It should have been operational security.
Right.
That's your number one and your only concern. Now, the fact that he's going to be in Alaska, the fact that he agreed to this climate change seminar, I mean, you are the president of the United States of America. Reschedule it. If you want us there, you'll reschedule it, because it's September 11th. I'm either going to be at the World Trade Center, I'm going to be at the Pentagon. That's where I'm going to be. You reschedule this thing, or the United States is not participating.
Yeah, I get what you're saying about Alaska, and everyone's an American. Everyone in the 50 states, they're American. But there is massive symbolism in this. And what makes me sad about it is I wonder if this is going to set off some sort of trend of we're starting to forget a little bit. It's been 22 years, just like what happened to Pearl Harbor. We've started, that kind of got replaced by 9/11 as the most catastrophic thing to ever happen on our soil. And are we now, is it losing its importance? And
well, in my opinion, what they're doing, the powers that be, they're trying to take away all kinds of American symbolism. That's what they're trying to do, and they feed the masses, the soft-minded masses, to go against America. They hate America. I mean, we have people in Congress that, for all intents and purposes, we might as well just call them out for what they are, communists and socialists. I remember, I mean, not that I'm that old, I didn't see it up front, but, I remember watching, old documentaries where they would have hearings on people that they deemed communist in America. And they chewed out their asses. But now, it's like, you know what? We don't have to do anything that, that symbolizes the unity of America. Let's just go around and keep talking about climate change. It kills me that this man, for Pride Month, let people go to the White House, okay, and do whatever they want to celebrate Pride Month. All right, and this is not a knock on gay people, so I don't want anybody, trying to get in my case. But it's like he picks and chooses what he feels is right. And when 9/11 happened, it didn't just bring Americans together. It brought nearly the whole planet together. That's how many people it affected. And for him, no, he'd rather go to Vietnam, talk about climate change. He'd rather go to Alaska, talk about climate change. And we'll just have a memorial there. It's all good. It'll be the same thing. I'll send my wife to one memorial, and I'll send, Kamala. I'll get her out the house, because, I mean, she's hardly ever on TV unless she's, bitching and hollering about something that makes no damn sense. And this is supposed to be the man that won 81 million votes. Unreal.
the symbolism you talk about. Don't plan on a withdrawal on September 11th. Don't do that. Is a sacred day. And I know that often, football games are played on that day. It always kind of made me cringe a little bit, but I will say the NFL did a good job of honoring that day and that observance. But my gosh, I this one doesn't make sense to me.
Well, Kennedy, Joe Biden told President Obama to wait on the raid, the Navy SEAL raid that killed Osama bin Laden. And that's in President Obama's book. So maybe that he's not in New York City or Shanksville or at the Pentagon. Maybe people are like, good, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with Emily. It's not a priority. So whoever is advising him, they have taken their eye off of what it means to be an American and the few things that we have to reflect and pause about. And this certainly is, arguably the most important. This is something that we can't forget, but there is a new generation of kids, they don't know what 9/11 is. It is not being taught in schools. You've got schools that have been hijacked by ultra-liberal, ultra-progressive teachers unions, and, obviously they don't teach civics. They despise American history, and this is one of those things that they want to be total revisionists about that. You've got Ilhan Omar, and it's not important to her. She's like, oh yeah, some days, some guys did something, and that's a mentality of the people who are advising the president, or he's got people around him who are so young that, they maybe weren't directly affected by 9/11. They don't have those visceral memories that we share together every single year because it's still resonating in each and every one of us, especially, people like you who are living in New York City, who know families who lost firefighters and police officers and people who worked at the World Trade Center. It's like those stories, they are still very much alive, though the people have passed. And that's what this president is turning his back on. Just by virtue of agreeing to that summit on September 10th, you are turning your back on something critically important that happened to America and to Americans.
And she's right. I've had family members that passed away because of 9/11. Okay? And the people that are in their 20s that don't know about it, I blame their parents at some point because they should teach them. I blame the school system because they should teach them. I blame the government because of this kind of stuff that they pull. When she said about Ilhan Omar, when she made that comment, that woman they should have kicked her ass out of the country a long time ago. She's a traitor. She's anti-American, okay? In my opinion, she's an enemy. She doesn't belong here. Her. I'm not saying anybody that's her race, so I don't want anybody to think it the other way. No, I'm saying her. I mean, she has a voice, and to think that woman, is in Congress, but it doesn't surprise me of the people on the left who are in Congress. It really, really doesn't. They're a bunch of America-hating commies, socialists, And I find it totally disgusting that he would do something like this. But at the same time, like I said, it does not surprise me. It really doesn't. The way I see it, if this man knew that he could have a number 2 to do the work, I don't think he'd be bothered with anything unless he just wanted to come outside and just be part of a ruckus. And that's about it. That man, he sold, how can I say this? He traded his American status, let's just put it that way. He traded that a long time ago. He traded that away a long time ago. But anyway, I'm True Outlaw Patriot. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and once again, I'm trying to get 100 subscribers by my birthday, which is September 15th. Pass this video around, and don't forget, stay vigilant, keep praying, and keep praying for each other. Peace.